like, let's just take basketball, to begin, right? So like our kid, now like youth sports are so insane. Our kids play for this like elite, like fucking like AAU basketball thing. And, it's insane. It's an insane fucking world.
And we were all competitive athletes as parents together. So we're coming at this from a relatable perspective, but in a completely different time.
So but we're not coming from like where a lot of parents are coming from. We're like, it's so clear they never fucking played a sport.
We're not vicariously like, living through them.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh, they have to navigate a whole different world than what we did when we were elite athletes.
Exactly. and especially way different than when we were fucking 11, right? And like at like 10.
I didn't even start till I was 11. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like, our kids have like this like enormous amount of fucking pressure on them, and I, it is something like I'm navigating, from Erin's side of things, like her uncle wins a gold medal in the Olympics, and then her brother, from all opinions, is better than him coming up. So she's coming up with a brother a year apart from him, where wrestling is like fucking everything in the world. And like in their house, like, no furniture, there's the wrestling mat. Like Erin had to wrestle her brother, like, and like when she would beat him, like her uncles would like pay her. And like, like it was very intense.
Just no balance.
Here
we are we want them to have this because it keeps them out of trouble. There's so many life lessons,
relationships,
the personal growth,
teamwork,
like the opportunity, like everything that comes from it. Like we see the value because that was beat into us.
Yep.
It was like, I'm not going to pay for college because you're going to get some form of a scholarship.
Yep.
Like our whole generation, you're going to go to college for free because of sports, right?
Yep.
And it was just like so much emphasis. But now, so is mental health. But also, let's get them started at age 3, becoming elite athletes.
Yes, and kids that are like literally 5 years earlier had shit in their diapers.
Yes.
Are now there's like a professional who's being paid to win games that your kid. And like my kid, like you're like our kids that play together, they're sort of like instrumental on like making that team get, and so then there's like also pressure.
Then they have the influence, and I'm like, oh, my kid a bad influence on your kid? Oh,
well,
so sorry.
All that shit, right? So, but like what I've seen with you guys, with you and Ben is an athlete, comes like you guys are real fucking, it's like a real athletic family, like not. Again, there's no vicarious bullshit, and it's so clear with you guys that like the life lessons for Saw are so much more important than the wins and the losses, or so much more than the and yet like I feel like you guys and I really struggle with it. Like I really struggle with my relationship with my kid in sports, but like I just talk a little bit about like what your perspective is on it, how you guys deal with it. How do you feel you guys are successful, and how do you guys feel like you're fucking up?
This is where I think Ben and I both feel the weakest in our parenting.
Wow.
This is where we both feel like we're messing up every single day. We're doing this wrong. Or we have no idea how to approach this, or how do we remove ourselves from, just to kind of summarize the situation of, our boys who are incredibly competitive and highly obsessed with all sports, and who place a lot of emphasis on winning. And unfortunately for Ben and I, they seem to be placing a lot of emphasis on their performance and on their record with their like personal value, which crushes me. It just crushes me. And Ben and I were not raised that way. We were raised by parents who were definitely parents of athletes and definitely like were rooting for success. But it was also like, and we're going to love you even if you don't ever play another sport. And you're going to be great even if you don't. But like, really awesome that you're pretty good at this, right? Like, we really also love that you're good at this. And we love going to sports every weekend. And I love saying that my kid holds this record or whatever. Like, we really love that. But also, we still love you if you don't want to play sports.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where we're coming from. And now we have these two just really like intense kids with sports. And we're talking not just playing sports, but watching. Like, you don't even know about that part. Like, our whole house can fall apart if like their team doesn't win. Like the team they're
Really?
rooting for, their professional team.
Dude.
It is like their fan, like it's happening to them.
I hate to say I love that so much. So I like
Well,
it.
when the Lakers didn't make it through the playoffs this year, it was definitely a dose of humble pie. I'm like, oh, I'm an embarrassment to myself right now. Like I even know better, and I'm letting them see. Like it's ruined my entire week, and I'm like sulking all throughout the house, and my kids are like, "Uh-oh, do you think mom like it?" And I'm like, "Oh my god."
These are the Lakers?
Yes.
Listen, really? What a fucking
excuse me.
But that is a hard team to root for. I mean, fucking A, man.
I grew up in LA. Look, so I got to watch the dynasty eras. I come from generations of Laker fans.
Yeah.
I remember where I was when like Ori hit the 3-point game-winning shot when I was in high school. I remember the sound of like the whole neighborhood erupting. So yeah, I'm a little like, and I will say, like full disclosure, that hasn't been every moment in every year of my life, but the tricky, murky part is a big part of our healing as a family has come through sports.
Sure.
And that is where that's something that we all connect over. And it is a little bit religious to us.
Sure.
And so for the boys, when everything was dark, that was their light. That was their escape. And we encouraged that. Like we didn't see anything wrong with, like when the pandemic finally ended, we could leave the house. Like we went and watched their very first NFL games in person of their favorite teams. And that was the first trip that we took, right? Was to go see the Bills. And like, and those were some of our like most healing family moments. The murky part is that when you're healing and your joy is wrapped up in something that you have no control over, and it becomes really tricky to not take it personal now when that happens. When it doesn't go how you plan, they aren't realizing that they're crying over their team, not making it to the Super Bowl because when their sister was dying and that quarterback called them and poured love into them and told them how brave and strong and inspirational they were, that moment got them through to the next. So when their team loses the game, they're reliving that moment.
Yeah.
And they don't know that.
And they can't articulate that. That's not conscious.
It's not even articulate. They're not even aware. There's no way that they're aware of it, but their body knows it. Right. Their heart knows it. Maybe when they're older, they'll know that. But like I'm watching it happen. Like I'm watching them be heartbroken about that. So then they place that same emphasis on themselves. So it's this awkward balance of they were going to be competitive anyway. They were going to be obsessed with sports even if their sister didn't get sick. But it also is where they put all of their energy and focus after she got sick.